Und damit herzlich willkommen zurück zu Let's Play Delusion. Ja, weiter geht's. So, uns wurde gesagt, nach Süden geht's zu diesem... Wie heißt es nochmal? Dem Pwyll-Village. Und da gehen wir jetzt auch hin. Und keine Ahnung, was hier für eine Textur durchbackt. Das muss sicher so. Ah, die Quarters sind jetzt fertig gebildet. Frag mich nur... wo? Wo sind denn meine Quartiere? Ah, hier sind sie. Kann ich auch schlafen? Ja. Oder, ach, das sind ja gar nicht meine, das ist wahrscheinlich für die Besatzung, oder? Keine Ahnung. Weil warum bräuchte ich nochmal 4 Betten? So, wo konnte ich jetzt steuern? Hier. The fortress needs repairing before that will work. Oh, if it isn't our newest confessor. She bows her head politely. I'd love to help you with your mission, but I don't have the security clearance to know all the ins and outs. You should speak with the Inquisitor Ignavius on the platform opposite the High Confessor. He'll know what to do. Alright. Ah, Confessor 17. I just knew you'd survive the assault. The drones were all but certain you'd meet a gruesome end, but you sure show them, eh? Yeah, about the tea you wanted. What was that tea again? Scryshroom tea for my wife. They make it here in Pwyll-Village, just south down the road from the Blinding Light Fortress. Never mind. Very good. Was there anything else? I had questions about the Sky Realms. By all means, ask away. Tell me more about the Apostatic Union. He glanced you up and down. Well, surely you've been there. Union Heartland, I mean. Well, the Union is the most civilized place in the Sky Realm since the world rent. You may not agree, but to my mind it's the truth. What's its history? For the past 400 years, the Sky Realms have been under the control of the Wiccan Covens and their gods. It may be true that some preached tolerance, but others were tyrants who twisted their poor followers into cruelty and ignorance. This you cannot dispute. You see, the Wiccans acted no different from the worst Slavian cartels. They forbade the weaving of cipher magic and the advancement of reasoned debate. They locked us in blood contracts with gods who stunted our advancement. But 40 years ago in the God War, the Apostatics cast off our shackles. He sighs. It's true that a lot of blood was spilled, both mortal and divine. But now, in Union territory, reason and discourse have replaced ignorance and fear. What's Union Heartland like? He sniffs. Well, depends where you go. I'm from London, a place full of windswept hills, soggy marshes, and crumbling castles, circled by a blue neutron star. We also have a weakness for ale. There's also Bion, known for its universities and fine wine, and Slav, a rugged wet land where criminal elements are rife. But many would consider the most important Union realm to be Venna. It's a warm, beautiful archipelago full of orchards bathed in yellow starlight, and home to the Union's most important city, Ryova. Ryova is where the Union Council of Polymaths meet. It's a city full of floating houses all strung together with bridges and ropes, with gondolas drifting between them. When you're in the middle, it's sad you can't see a hint of the sky. There's buildings in every direction. But wherever you go in the Union Heartlands, there's nowhere as rugged and wild as this. He takes a lungful of air. Ah, nary a sewer for miles. That's enough about the Union. He nods. Anything else? Tell me about the Oneric Isles. Well, the Oneric Isles are the archipelago we are on now. It's always been at the fringe of Union territory and has only recently had a regional council installed in Shire. But there are also islands outside the Union control. To the east lies the Clockwork Kingdom, ruled by a machine monarch, while to the west lies a rather frightful place of undying souls, known as the Endless Realm. Tell me about Shire. Though Shire has technically been under Union control since the God War, it's been somewhat neglected until recently. That means there's still cultists lurking among the hills, not yet flushed out. There are even whispers of gods lurking in nasty nooks and crannies. But no need to worry, a Union Council chamber has just been built in Hello Town, and this place now has its very own polymath. With such an esteemed education, she'll have this place sorted out in no time. Tell me about the Endless Realm. Did you ever hear the stories of the Cadaver Crusades? Led by those nasty ghouls that plundered the living to eat their flesh? He visibly shivers. Well, turns out those weren't just stories. Those monsters actually exist, and have a little kingdom right over yonder, ruled by their so-called Queen of Silver. I tell you, you couldn't make it up. Last I heard, they packed in all that flesh-eating business and started farming some sort of mindless meat. Fancy that, ghouls with a conscience. Tell me about the Clockwork Kingdom. Well, the less said about the place the better. It used to be known as Cardova, and during the God War they aided the apostatics in overthrowing the Wiccans and their gods. They even made the Blinding Light Fortress, as well as many other war machines. But they always were a little big for their boots. Despite having the best alchemists and aetherists in the Sky Realms, they got the mad notion of making some sort of magical utopia, where every foolish peasant could cast a spell. Utter nonsense, I say. Only for a while it seemed like the buggers actually got it to work. The stuff that was coming out of the newly formed Clockwork Kingdom was making even the erudite Academy scholars blush with envy. At least until the Mechanical King went mad and threw the whole place into chaos. Now it's a frozen wasteland full of malfunctioning robots and rotting crops. Which is a damn shame, because there was a lovely little tea house in Ferropolis that my wife adored. Oh well. What islands are we on now? Oh, this little isle is known as Pwyll. Just a handful of mushroom farmers here, really. But its remote location has always made it a haven for smugglers and pirates. Perhaps that's why Vela came here to lick her wounds after the Dark Start mutiny. That's all I wanted to know about these islands. Very good. Was there anything else? That's all I wanted to know. Splendid. Was there anything else? Tell me about yourself. Me? Oh, there's not much to tell. I'm just a humble servant of the Apostatic Union. Time ago I was a counselor, would you believe? Only a rather embarrassing incident involving a lost shipment of hallucinogenic Scryshroom saw me, demoted to a less public-facing role. So here I am, working for the esteemed Inquisition. Only one can't help if their thoughts often drift to home comforts, eh? I have a lovely little cottage back in Lundel with my wife. One day I'll pack all this in and get back to growing button caps in my garden. About the mission? Ah yes, what about it? Tell me about Vela and the Dark Stars. Vela Kalos, now that's a name that'll make hair stand on end. Okay, das kennen wir, glaube ich, alles schon. Ja, okay, das haben wir schon alles. Okay, das hat er schon gesagt. Goodbye. Best of luck out there. Dann frage ich mich jetzt aber doch... Was ist damit Repairment gemeint? Ist das was ich hier oben reparieren kann? Oder kommt das später? Training Room Workshop? Nee. Also das ist definitiv nicht. Hier backt immer noch irgendwas rein. Ich schlafe mal ganz kurz. Ja, das sind sicher Crew-Quartiere, weil hier oben kann ich gar nicht speichern. Dann muss ich jetzt quasi wieder nach unten. Ich könnte hier runterspringen. Ich weiß noch immer nicht, ob es Fallschaden gibt. Aber hier war irgendwo ein Aufzug, den wollte ich noch ausprobieren. War der da oder da hinten? Ich glaube hier hinten. Ja. Das Dumme ist, die sagen halt immer, das liegt im Süden oder so, aber ich habe ja gar keinen Kompass oder sowas. Und eine Map habe ich auch noch nicht. Aber ich denke mal, dass das hier schon der Weg sein wird. Hier kann man nochmal speichern. Ah, genau, ich wollte noch den anderen Zauber equippen. So, dann gehen wir hier erstmal nach Loot suchen, würde ich sagen. Wo bin ich jetzt? Oh, keine Ahnung, wo ich jetzt bin. Aber ist ja auch egal. Da sind auf jeden Fall Gegner. The Darkstar mercenary languishes an ale in one hand. She barely registers your presence. Ah, so are you with the Inquisition or some petty thief come to pick at our corpses? I'm just passing through, I have no quarrel with you. Damn straight! Any funny business and I'll lop off your head! She swings an arm in a vague gesture, spilling her ale in the process. What can you tell me about Vela Kalos? Charm, if you don't care for Vela, let me in the storeroom below. Ja, gute Idee eigentlich. You know what? Why do I always get the shitty jobs? Sure, you can loot the whole place for all I care. That'll show Vela a thing or two. War jetzt eher ein Lachen als ein Hexer, aber egal. Hier ist was zum Craften und Schmieden. Ah, okay. Ich bräuchte mehr Erz. You lack the required materials. Schade. So, was ist hier drin? Leucosic Bomb. A vial of fine white powder distilled through alchemical processes. Extremely volatile, the flask will explode on impact when thrown. Habe ich das nicht bereits equipped? Ah, okay, das stackt anscheinend nicht. Oder, hä? Ich verstehe nur nicht genau, warum ich nochmal die Beschreibung davon bekommen habe. Das ist gerade, was mich verwirrt. Weil die bekommt man ja eigentlich nur beim ersten Mal. Wo die herkommen, da diese Pots da, das sind anscheinend ja so Transportdinger. Der eine meinte, das wäre irgendwie sein Teil gewesen. Ah, da unten ist es. Ja, okay, aber bevor ich da hingehe, will ich noch kurz gucken, wo ich da hinkomme, wenn ich wieder in die Festung reingehe. Das ist dieser Shortcut. Den hatte ich ja vorhin schon. Hier zu der Festung. Ich will erstmal hier oben exploren. Genau, da kam ich ja eh her. Da war ich schon. Bisschen vorsichtiger vielleicht. Oh, da ist ein Monster. Macht ja witzige Geräusche. Da läuft noch ein Viech herum. Ah, silk thread. A sturdy silk produced by the ubiquitous silk slug can be used to upgrade a variety of clothing. Despite being soft to the touch, the thread is remarkably durable. Ist hier oben auch jemand drin? Da ist überhaupt keine Tür drin. Ah, doch. Mein Lore-Skill ist too low. Muss ich mir das wohl merken? So, ah, da ist noch ein Vieh. Genau, hier bin ich durchgegangen, weil dann hier passt. Truth Potion. Dispels illusions and reveals the truth of things. The Union has banned the use of this potion, for it interferes with many of their officially sanctioned spells. Ist die Frage, ob das Konsequenzen haben kann, wenn ich das benutze. Wahrscheinlich schon. Ist das ein Händler? Oh my, what's all that commotion over yonder? I appear to be quite lost. I bought a map of these Oneric Isles back in Ryova, but it seems to be decades out of date. He grumbles. Ah, that's the trouble with these fringe islands. Every few decades they floated into different positions. Take my advice, traveler, if you're looking to explore, make sure you find an accurate map. Do you know where I can find a map? Well, I noticed that the Erudite Academy is flying over Hellowshire to the south of here. Can you see it up there in the sky? It travels all over the Apostatic Union, so I've heard. I met one of their scholars in a red tent in the forest underneath Pwyll-Village, though I've seen them in other places too. Believe it or not, they are working on a map of the region right now, only it's not quite ready. Still, I try asking them. Shut, eh? Where are you trying to get to? Oh, I'm trying to get to the Endless Realm. It's said to be a place where people never die, even though the flesh peels from their bones. As a boy, my mother would scare me with tales of the Cadaver Crusades, when the Endless would hunt the living and feast on their still warm bodies. It would scare me witless, but still, I always dreamed of going there someday. And I have it on good authority that they've reformed their ways. They only eat non-sentient meat, and are on good terms with the Apostatic Union. So I said to myself, what do I have to lose? He gulps. Well, I suppose they could still eat me. Farewell. Darf ich hier bei dir schlafen? Leider nicht. Ah, da gibt es noch Sachen. Habe ich mir doch gedacht. Ui, ein Tempel. Nice. Elixir of Restoration restores health and mana to maximum. This legendary elixir has long been used by Viking cults, but is banned in the apothecaries of the Apostatic Union for its use of illegal ingredients. Death's Wheel. A legendary mushroom with potent alchemical potential. If a traveler becomes cursed in the Underlands, their corpse may become host to this fungi. It is said the properties of this herb can change based on the personality of the deceased host. Da back ich doch mal out. Das ist ein ziemlich fetter Pilz. Oh, und Lockpick. Hier ist nix. Gold. Münster. Give me them Loot. So. Heißt Pflanzen geerntet. So, ist jetzt Hellowshire hier unten? Also komme ich hier nach Hellowshire oder Pwyll-Village? Oder ist das da oben Pwyll-Village? Dann ist auf jeden Fall ein fettes Viech. Ja, noch kurz nur hier auf die Brücke. Für Aussicht. Also das sieht mir stark so aus, als sollte ich da jetzt noch nicht hingehen. Deswegen gehe ich mal erstmal da nach oben. Was sie mit diesen Höhlen auf sich hat. Bin mir auch noch nicht so ganz sicher. Pflanze nehme ich noch mit. Ah, okay, habe ich schon geerntet. Dann nochmal kurz speichern, bevor ich da jetzt hingehe. Ah, da ist der Wegweiser. This way to the sacred shroom. Wäre hier links. Da will ich aber jetzt noch nicht hin. This way to Pwyll-Village, purveyors of the prophetic Scryshroom tree. T. Genau, da will ich hin. Ah, hier sehe ich auch die Himmelsrichtung. Aber da geht's tief runter. The youth looks at you with caution, wide eyes lodged in a gaunt face. Oh, a newcomer! Welcome to Pwyll-Village. My name's Lud. Were you, involved in all that commotion over at the old fort? I'm just passing through. I won't cause you any trouble. The boy's shoulders slacken and he looks genuinely relieved. Ah, okay. I can tell you a little about our town if you like. We're just a humble village, he swallows. Have you heard of Scryshroom? It's a mushroom that shows you the future. We grow it and sell it. Only, things aren't going so well lately. People are worried. What's going wrong exactly? Well, the crop yield is bad. Each year we've been growing less Scryshroom. He scratches his head. Some people are getting worried. He looks around, then leans in closer. I've heard some people are considering the old ways. His eyes are practically bulging. You know, consorting with Wiccans and gods. That's very stupid of them. The boy nods furiously. Of course, well, very illegal. But also kind of exciting, wouldn't you say? He seems to regret his choice of words. I just mean it's very boring here sometimes. Anyway, the local waymaster Pwyll-Village has gotten pretty spooked by it all. He's weighing everyone who comes by just to make sure they are not a Wiccan. But my mother's Olven, she's the mayor, by the way, doesn't seem too bothered by it all. She's much too worried about something else. I heard her mumbling about some sort of monster lately. He blinks. Oh, I'm sorry. I do tend to waffle, don't I? Is there anything you'd like to know? Ich glaube, das Monster habe ich unten schon gesehen, bei dem anderen Weg. Can you point me around town? I suppose so. He gestures behind him. Just in town you will find the Way House. The Waymaster Pwyll-Village, he's pretty respected around here. Nearby is the Scryshroom company, which sells Scryshroom, of course, and other things. Further up the hill is the mayor's house. That's where my mother, the mayor, lives. She sometimes has work going. And further up is the old sacred shroom. Only, it's dead. What does the Waymaster do? Oh, Pwyll-Village. He's pretty important. He went to Ryova, the capital city of the Apostatic Union that's really far away, to get certified as a Waymaster. He weighs things for merchants and buyers to make sure the price is fair. Might not seem like much, but for a small town like us, it means we can trade with realms like Venna, Bion, and Lundel. He leans closer, eyes wide. But he also weighs people. Lately, he's been really worried about Wiccan sympathizers, and he has magic cipher scales that can tell if you're evil. He looks sheepish. He's not weighed me, though. I guess he doesn't think I'm tough enough to be a criminal. Tell me about the Scryshroom company. Well, it's run by Dwin, whose family's been growing Scryshroom for generations. Without his company, the town wouldn't really exist. Mushrooms are kind of all there is around here. Mother won't let me drink the Scryshroom tea, even though she does all the time. She says it's too intense. That you have to be a responsible adult to see the future. I don't see the big deal, though. She mostly just hallucinates about having a bigger garden. So, your mother is the mayor? He nods. Not everyone likes her, because she comes from all the way over in Lundel. That's a faraway place with castles and windswept moors, the Union Heartland. I was born here, so I've never been... He sniffs. Why is the sacred shroom dead? Oh, well, that's because Pwyll-Village killed our god, of course. Would you care to elaborate? I'm sorry, I forget not everyone knows about it. He chuckles meekly. Our old god was angry And he was really mean, like he wanted people to sacrifice themselves at the sacred shrooms to make the Scryshrooms grow good. He nods. That's all I wanted to know. He nods. I hope I didn't waffle too much. I've gotta get going, kid. Oh, of course. Bye. Interessante Sachen. Interessante Sachen. Ich weiß halt immer noch nicht, ob das eine lineare Story ist oder ob ich da Einfluss drauf nehmen kann. Also ob es jetzt irgendeinen Unterschied macht, ob ich jetzt brutalst auf Pro-Inquisition gehe oder nicht. Und dass ich hier gerade ultra den geheimen Weg gefunden habe, fällt mir auch gerade auf. Da hinten ist doch schon das Vieh. Das ist garantiert das Vieh, was ich killen muss. Ah, was ist das? Oh, ein Eirenohr. The door is shut tight. Kann ich sie aufbrechen? Nee. Wie viel Eisenerz habe ich denn jetzt? Zwei. Wenn ich 3 habe, kann ich mir ein besseres Schwert machen. Wenn mir halt echt was passieren würde, wenn ich hier runter droppe. Also ich will es nicht probieren, das ist das Problem. So, das hier ist jetzt also Pwyll-Village. Vielleicht sollte ich da mal runterschauen. The farmhand sits aimlessly, watching the mushrooms. Busy day? You startle the farmhand. Hmm? Oh, Emir wasn't slacking off, oh no. It's just, there ain't much to do around here lately on account of the poor shroom yield. Each year the harvests get leaner and leaner. Twin says it'll be fine, but I don't think he believes it. Last time I took Scryshroom, I saw a vision of Pwyll, Bran and Bear. The house is all ruined. Honestly, unless we do summon this town, ain't got much of a future, I reckon. I'll leave you to it. He returns to staring at the mushrooms. Mit irgendeinem Wasserfall ist doch safe mal eine Höhle. Einen Lockpick. Oh. Okay, sah grad weird aus. Dieses Haus hat anscheinend keinen Eingang. Ja, doch, da. Oh, scheint sich aber nichts zu tun. Also bevor ich das Vieh besiegen kann, muss ich schon noch deutlich besseres Equipment kriegen. Das ist wahrscheinlich die Bürgermeisterin. You must purchase an airship deed before you can upgrade it. Okay, dann ist es nicht die Bürgermeisterin. Also die Sonne da, die sieht schon echt cool aus. The woman casts you an indifferent gaze. Greetings, traveler. Welcome to the, She yawns, then rubs her temples. The Pwyll port of the Winged Merchants Guild. I'm the local harbor master. How can I help you? What does the guild do here in Pwyll? She takes a sharp intake of breath, as if the question was a particularly confounding riddle. Well, we oversee the transfer of goods, impose tariffs, check for contraband, that sort of thing. Pwyll is a pretty quiet place, so we don't get much traffic. Once a week a merchant ship, usually a cog or a sloop, comes from Hellowtown with exports from the Union Heartlands. Maybe once in a while we'll get a dough from El Asfera. And after we unload their goods, what do they want? Scryshroom! Always fucking Scryshroom! I swear, if I have to winch one more crate of the stuff... How can I get my own airship? She smirks. What? You think we just hand them out to bright-eyed travelers? It takes a lot of coin to buy a sailing vessel, you know. Most Union merchants only have shares of the ships they use. Plus, even if you had a bulging coin purse under those, she vaguely gestures at your clothes, fine garments you're wearing, these days you need a writ of permission from the Ryovan Port Authority. And trust me, you're not gonna find one of those lying around out here in the sticks. Farewell. Die gibt mir also keins. It's saving time. Gucken wir mal hier rein. Ah, hier kann man sich im Bett mieten zum Schlafen. Ah, welcome, welcome. Pull up a stool. If you're looking for a Scryshroom, you've come to the right place. He leans to the counter and thrusts a bulging eye in your direction. Do you know what Scryshroom does, newcomer? Ich vermute, eine Halluzination verursachen, aber ich sag mal nein. Well, where have you been stuffing your noggin? Scryshroom shows you your future in all its brilliant glory. There ain't no cipher spell in the great library of Beyond that can do what Scryshroom does. It plunges you into the river of time so you can see the bands and the currents rushing towards you. Do you know how I grew this business? Not with luck, my friend, oh no. I used the humble Scryshroom to outsmart my rivals, and now my company ships to every corner of the pathetic union. So what do you say? You buying? So wait, do these visions always come true? He squirms a little. Well, now I can't say they are always right. The future can be changed, see? And I won't be held accountable for any foolishness or failures you get yourself into after you use them. Okay, you've convinced me. What you're selling? That's what I like to hear. I've got a pot of Scryshroom tea on the brew, and we've also got a few other odds and ends if you're hankering for supplies. I've also a room to rent upstairs for 2 coin if you need some rest. Let's see what you have for sale. Alright, here's what we got. So, einen Scryshroom Tee. Ich gönn mir mal 2. Weil ich will auch selber eintrinken. Und ein Kompass ist, glaube ich, auch eine gute Investition. Dann will ich den nochmal noch fragen. Always good to see a returning customer. What can I do for you? We got Scryshroom tea brewing and I've got a room to rent upstairs. I have some questions for you. Well, if you want to know about Scryshrooms, I'm the person to ask. Been growing and trading them since I was this high. I heard Pwyll had a certain reputation for smuggling. He shoots you an angry glance. Lot of folk talk about that, lot of folk don't know what they are talking about. Sure, a lot of mercenaries have set them shops around these parts, and yeah, we trade with them. But here in Pwyll we pay our tax just like anyone in the Union. That's why old Coleridge went to Ryovan to learn to be a waymaster and all. His eyes narrow. And if you've been snooping around and seen some things you don't like the look of, I'd advise you to keep your trap shut. I don't pay Nut over there just for his looks, no. He protects my business interests, hear me? How's the Scryshroom trade? Oh, the man's never been better. The shop I run's just out of respect for the village. But really, I make my money selling shrooms in bulk to merchants. And there's a real penchant for the stuff. These days, peddlers, poets, and polymaths alike are drinking the stuff from London to Vienna. In the tea rooms of Bayonne, ladies and gents are seeing their futures unfurl before them. But I'd be lying if I said it was all good news. The harvest's been down lately, and each year we're growing less of the stuff. He speaks slow, suddenly sullen. If Uncle were here, he'd know what to do. Okay, thanks. He nods. Anything else? Ehrlich gesagt hätte ich gerne nochmal wegen der Lizenz gefragt, aber da hatte ich jetzt gar nicht mehr die Möglichkeit. The man sips his tea and studies you intently. New face, eh? If you've got business here, talk to Dwin at the counter. He's the proprietor of the business. I'm really only employed to make sure things go smoothly. Das ist der Nut. You don't seem like the rest of the villagers. He betrays a thin smile. My, you're perceptive, eh? I'm a mercenary, you see? I fought with the Bayonne Serpents, the Lundel Blackguard, and even the Dark Stars for a time. And now, he sips his tea, I protect the business interests of this fine gentleman, nothing more. So please, pay me no heed. I'm looking for some former Dark Star mercenaries. He narrows his eyes. Oh, is that so? Well, your motives better be pretty fucking congenial, cause it's no secret that I'm a former Dark Star merc myself. Of course, I haven't sailed with them in years. I left after the mutiny once it became clear that Vela's ambitions, once so intoxicating, were likely to get us all killed. He clears his throat. Well, out with it then. Exactly who are you looking for? Tell me about Vela Kalos. He chuckles heartily. Ah, now that's a good one. You're just gonna stride up to the boss lady herself and claim that union bounty, are you? Now, don't get me wrong. I never really knew the woman. I was too low rank to be clinking my tankard with her. But I've been privy to some of her deeds and, well, let's just say you don't ever want to cross swords with Vela Kalos. As for where she's gone, I haven't the slightest idea, and I wouldn't tell you if I did. That woman has plans in motion that I couldn't begin to comprehend, and I won't be found complicit in trying to thwart her efforts, for the sake of my own neck. I'm meeting with Jack Basalt. Ah, good old Jack? He smirks. In the Union they still call him Shame of the Navy after he abandoned his rank and stationed to join Vela's merry band. In battle the man was a demon. When his voice bellowed across the deck of a skyship, sword raised high, you made sure to heed it. But below decks he always found time to share a drink with those under his command. Learning their names, their troubles, not every merc captain does that. Of course, I don't know if that was thanks to a kind heart or his weakness for the strong stuff. Let me guess, you're meeting in a pub, right? He grins. That's enough about the Dark Stars. Good, and let me be plain. You didn't hear any of this from me, are we clear? Is that Scryshroom tea you're drinking? He's quiet a moment and merely takes a sip. Indeed. Tell me, did old Win over there give you his speech about how he outsmarted his business rivals by drinking the stuff? Yeah. He smirks. I thought as much. The funny thing is, he doesn't touch the stuff. It's more of a sales tactic, you might say. Whenever he does drink Scryshroom tea, he tends to get rather emotional and... He grins. Empties his bowels prematurely. You see, Scryshroom may be a popular drug, but that's all it is to most people. A party trick or a quick high. The truth is, most can't see the future from drinking it. The shroom has such a potent psychedelic effect, any premonitions are lost within the fantasy. But the premonitions are there, you just need a low dosage and a certain discerning eye. That's why, if you were to say, reach for your blade right now, I'd have my knife at your throat before you knew it. He smiles warmly. Now, was there anything else? Ich hab mein Schwert schon in der Hand, mein Freund. Tell me about your time as a mercenary. Nut tilts his head back and drums his fingers on his cup. Well, in my youth, I toured with various mercenary companies in the Apostatic Union heartland. There's a tale or two there. I ended up with the Dark Stars here in Pwyll, a name I'm sure you've heard of. But lately I've been freelancing in these Oneric Isles, taking on all sorts of jobs before settling in with Dwin here. Of all the realms I've been to, these isles host some of the strangest. I'll be going then. He smiles politely, but says nothing. Interessant. Ja, okay, hier würde ich dann schlafen. Wahrscheinlich. Kann ich hier in den Brunnen schauen? Nein. Sieht aber leer aus. War ich hier schon drin? Nee. Erstmal nach oben gucken. Cannot pass. The owner of this place won't let you pass this point. Okay. The man's eyes follow you with suspicion. His graying hair and weathered skin suggest he's older than most in the village, and a faded scar runs down his face. You're new to town, I gather? Well, I'm the local waymaster, named Skullwitch, and I'll have you know, before you engage in any business here in Pwyll, I'll be taking your weight. So without another word, please step on the scales. He gestures to the huge contraption behind him. Thanking you kindly. Wait, why do you want to weigh me? He narrows his eyes. By decree of the Apostatic Union, all those seeking to trade in its jurisdictions must prove they are of an ordinary disposition, that is not physically altered by cipher magic or god devotion, nor bearing the guilt of unpunished crimes. And you can tell that just by my weight? Just step on the goddamn scales, alright? Mal gucken, ob der meine unpunished crimes erkennt. Secrets and Spores. In Pwyll-Village you met Waymaster Skullwitch, who refused to speak with you until you were weighed on his enormous scales. You've weighed yourself and so should probably report back to him. He studies the dials and symbols atop the machine and scratches various notes on some parchment. Interesting. Very interesting. Ich sag nix. The Prime Glyph says you're a criminal. He shoots you a stern glance. The lesser glyphs are harder to parse. Let's see now. Plenty of damning glyphs, sir. Seems like you were some sort of criminal ringleader. No wonder you were caught. Ah, but there's one more glyph. Inquisition Agent? He looks up from his parchment, his face struck with puzzlement. Begging your pardon. At first glance I thought you might be one of those Dark Star mercenaries, running from the Inquisition raid. But you must have been fighting those scoundrels. Yes, I'm a confessor, atoning for my crimes. Well, far be it for me to delay Inquisition business. I've approved your visit to Pwyll. You won't get any trouble. He thinks a moment. But I say, in light of your profession, could lend this humble servant of the Apostatic Union a hand? There'd be an Apostatic Union passport in it for you. See, the Inquisition raid ain't the only reason we've been so eager to weigh people of late. There's also fears of bloody god worship among the townsfolk. After all we've been through. He looks distinctly peeved. How can you tell so much from those scales? These are morality scales. You'll see there's only one visible. That's because it's magically linked at the fulcrum through a bond of cipher to a scale containing the moral standard. What's the moral standard? Some kind of weight? He grins. Oh no, it would be preposterous. How could you tell so much about a person by weighing him against a dead weight? No, don't be stupid. The moral standard is a person. A carefully selected person who bears qualities deemed the epitome of apostatic union morality. By weighing you against such perfect integrity, we can't tell by what degree your character is lacking. I think the current moral standard resides far off and beyond university. They have to rest and sleep between weigh-ins, of course, which is why weigh houses only open at certain times. Why does such a small town need to weigh people? Well, on account of being on the fringes of apostatic union territory, there are certain unseemly folk who've taken advantage of Pwyll in the past. Mercenaries like those dark stars in the fort over yonder who've used to smuggle ill-gotten goods into Ellershire and beyond. So having a certified weighmaster helps Pwyll attract reputable merchants to buy our Scryshroom tea. Shows we can be trusted to pay our taxes, you know. And we don't just weigh people. We can also weigh shrooms and rain. Or well, anything really. That's enough about weighing things. Was there anything else? I'm looking for some dark star mercs and I need to explore the Oneric Isles. Culwich taps his nose. Ah, acquisition business, eh? Don't worry, old Culwich can keep a secret. Well, you might try asking Nat, who's the hired muscle over at this Scryshroom company. Gotta say, he's a prickle fella and I've never gotten on with him too well, but I know he used to work for the Dark Stars. To be honest, I doubt you'll find out much in old Pwyll. We'll be wanting to reach Hellowtown in Hellowshire to south. There's a Union Council building on bustling dock where all sort of skyships lay anchor. But to pass over the Union Gate Bridge, you'll need an apostatic Union passport. Each one will grant you passage over a single bridge. As a certified weighmaster, I have one that I'm not using. But Inquisitor or not, you'll have to earn my trust if I'm gonna just hand it over. What can you tell me about this town? Well, Pwyll is a quaint village these days. We've been growing and selling Scryshrooms since the early days of the Skyrealms, and shipping them all over the place. Business may not be as good since the God War. Killing your own deity will do that, but we're better off for being in the apostatic union. I take the union's tax levies over our Wiccan blood contract any day. What's a Wiccan contract? Have things gotten so comfy in the Union that people have forgotten the history? Well, I'll be damned. For as long as people can remember, Wiccans have acted as mediators between gods and their worshippers. He strokes his chin. Kinda like lawyers of the divine, I guess. Supposedly they acted in the best interests of both mortals and the gods, binding both in a magical contract that made sure neither got scuppered over. Except here in Pwyll, our Wiccans fucked us. The terms were all in Angwin's favor. We can't have been alone, because 40 years ago the apostatics shared the God War, started, and we weren't the only place to slay their own god, let me tell ya. Wait, you killed your own god? Aye, 40 years ago. Before then Pwyll was prosperous and miserable. We were trapped into a blood contract with our tyrant god Angwin, and the terms were abysmal. Oh, our harvest was bountiful, but the blood price was high. Every year dozens of villagers disappeared into the sacred shrooms to appease that divine bastard. never to be seen again. So when the apostatics came calling, asking us to renounce our faith and join the fight against the Wiccans, we took up arms gladly. I fought in the Pwyll division, and I have the scars to show for it. What happened next? We crewed a Cardavan Lancer ship and impaled our own deity with a void spear. For all the grief he caused my people, that bugger really didn't put up much of a fight. But the war still raged, so the apostatics built that huge fortress on the hill to repel Wiccan counterattacks. Of course, when the dust cleared and the war was over, the newfangled apostatic union let it fall into ruin. Until that mercenary lass, Vela Kalos, took it over, of course. Past few years, Pwyll has garnered quite the reputation for smuggling nefarious business, thanks to those damned Dark Stars. You'd think the Union would have done something about it sooner, but the larger the gears, the slower they grind, I guess. Are you happy being part of the Apostatic Union? More than a lot of folk. I have met travelers to lament the passing of the gods, who claim the Union has swapped divine majesty for naught but politics and paperwork. But here in Pwyll, anyone old enough will remember the bad times. We all lost friends and family. The gods' damn soil was fertilized with their blood. Of course, for a long time being in the Union didn't mean much. Here in the Oneric Isles we are on the fringes, you see? And for decades, these isles were rife with outlaws, criminals and Wiccan refugees. It's only lately that the Union stepped up its presence and built a council chamber in Hellowshire. Since then, trade in Pwyll's been booming. Turns out plenty of folk wanna buy our shrooms. Now if only our harvest could keep up with demand. What's the Scryshroom you grow? Well, it's a mushroom that lets you screw the future, see? Shows you visions of what could come to pass. Only it's not always right. Sure, every now and again someone sees a vision of something that absolutely irrevocably comes true, and everyone sings the praises of the humble Scryshroom. But most of the time you're just having a bad dream. He shrugs. Still, people all over the Sky Realms wanna buy it, so I'm not complaining. Puts food on my plate after all. That's all I wanted to ask. So be it. Was there anything else? So you need help tracking down god worshippers? He leans forward and speaks low. Aye. I've been feared recently. See, the soil's dying and harvests are down. Merchants want to buy our Scryshroom more than ever, but we can't even meet demand. So some have been flirting with the old ways. What makes the old ways so bad? He sighs. It's been 40 years since the God War. 40 years since the apostatics told the Wiccans and their gods to go fuck themselves. 40 years since me and the lads drove a void spear through our own god's eye. That cruel, violent bastard of a god, Angwin. And in those 40 years, folk have forgotten how bad it was under that divine tyrant and his Wiccan lackeys. Sure, we had bountiful harvests and our purses were bulging, but our sons and daughters were taken from us and the soil was fertilized with their blood. Now our old god Angwin's been dead for long enough, but they say so long as people still believe, some part of a god can live on, so there's been murmuring of some folk trying to bring him back, and that's got the rest of us so scared shitless. Trouble with a small town like this? We all know each other, and the guilty parties won't talk to me. But you're an outsider, and an Inquisition agent on to boot. I need you to ask around and try to find any Wiccan sympathizers, so we can sort this out quiet, like before the villagers start lopping each other's head off in a frenzy. Find someone out, and I'll dispense you a Union passport that'll grant passage to Hellowshire. Alright, I'll see what I can do. He sighs in relief. You have my thanks, newcomer. Just as soon as you find someone out of sorts, you let me know, yeah? Ich will nochmal hier kurz fragen. Do you have any idea who I should be asking? He strokes his chin. Well, you could try our mayor, Owen. But honestly, she's often got her head so far in the clouds I doubt she has a clue what's going on with her constituents. But seeing as this whole thing tied up with the shroom trade, I try asking around in the Scryshroom company down the dock. Its owner Dwin certainly has a lot to gain from better harvests. Ich will hier nochmal gucken. Okay, ich habe die Antwort nicht mehr. Uiuiui, das war ja ganz schön viel. Gucken wir mal kurz, was ich jetzt hier für Missionen habe. Okay, ich brauche den Union-Passport hier. Ja, habe ich schon gekauft. Kann ich den mal geben? Okay, da könnte ich... Ja, okay, da bin ich noch nicht. Okay, das weiß ich. In Pwyll-Village you met Waymaster Culwich, who wants you to investigate the village for signs of god worship and cultism. You've been advised that someone at the Scryshroom company might know something useful. Muss ich nochmal mit dem Dwin reden. Und in Pwyll-Village a young man called Lud told you that his mother, the mayor, is very worried about a certain monster. You should pay her a visit. Ich werde aber jetzt erstmal aufhören aufzunehmen. Und wir sehen uns dann bald wieder. Bis dahin. Ciao.